Good day everyone. Welcome to another mathematics tutorial. In this video, we will learn about the lesson 3 in Precalculus Analytic Geometry for grade 11 STEM students. I hope you are doing well after the 2 weeks of face-to-face class. May this video will give you additional understanding on the lesson. I will discuss to you all about ellipse. So here are our goals in this lesson. Illustrate how ellipse was formed, define ellipse, familiarize the characteristics of ellipse, derive the standard form of ellipse, transform general form to standard form and vice versa, and find the standard form and graph. First, we're going to illustrate how ellipse was formed. An ellipse was formed, or an ellipse is a type of conic section, a shape resulting from intersecting a plane with the cone and looking at the curve where they intersect. Similar to parabola and circle, now they were formed by a plane that was intersect to a certain cone. No? In this example, makikita natin sa diagram. So start tayo dito in this part. So we have here a plane. So this is a plane. Tapos na-intersect niya yung cone. Actually, yung pagka-intersect niya is perpendicular to the axis. So it would create a circle. However, pag yung plane naman, itilt natin slight. Okay? Slight natin. Okay, pag ganun, no? So, it will result to a ellipse. So, as what I've discussed while ago, when a plane is perpendicular to the axis of the cone, the shape of the intersection is a circle. And if it is slightly titled plane, creates an oval shape conic section called an ellipse. So most associate ellipse to a circle, and most said that an ellipse is a flattened circle. Nag-differ lang sa kanilang mga curvedness. Because yung curvedness or the eccentricity ng circle is 0. Okay? 0 yung eccentricity niya. However, yung eccentricity naman ng ellipse is between 0 and 1. Okay? So, yun yung pagkakaiba nila. Okay, let's proceed. So, here is a definition of an ellipse. Makikita natin sa diagram, ang ellipse is like an oval shape, right? And we have here a dotted line, no? Yung red lines na dalawa. So associate natin as the x and the y axis. And the blue shape, the blue curve here, this make the ellipse shape. Okay, so here is the definition. An ellipse is a set of all points x, y such that the sum of their distances from two fixed points is a constant. We all know that there are infinite points in an ellipse. So, yung blue curve here. So, pick tayo ng one point, which is point P. So, yung point P is at x, y. So, yung fixed points naman, we have here the focus, dalawang focus, no? And each fixed point is called a focus. Ang plural naman ito is ang foci. So, yung distance from P to focus given by PF sub 1. So, this is F sub 1 and this is F sub 2. Pag i-add natin sa distance from P to focus 2, it will yield to a constant result. Okay, constant daw, sabi sa definition. Actually, we're going to discuss more on this in the next slide natin. Okay, so this is the definition of an ellipse. So here naman are the main characteristics of ellipse. So this is the diagram earlier na diniscuss ko. So first is the major axis. So makikita natin nun, may dalawang dotted red lines there. And I associate earlier that this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. And the major axis, the line passing through the foci. So meaning that yung dalawang focus. So this is f sub 1 and f sub 2. So yung line that pass through the foci, major axis yung tawag. So meaning to say, this is the major axis. Vertices naman are the points on the ellipse which intersect the major axis. So ito din, this is the major axis. So syempre yung vertices nandun sa ellipse. Okay? So ito siya. So wala siya dito. Wala siya dito sa line. Nandun siya sa curve. So ang tawag naman nito is vertices. And most ang notation niya is V sub 1 and V sub 2. Ibig sabihin vertex 1 and vertex 2. Sunod naman, center, the line passing through the foci. The center is the midpoint between the two focus. So ito siya. Siyempre, nasa center siya. And it passed through the foci. Okay. Next, the minor axis, the line perpendicular to the minor axis passing through the center. Ito yung major axis. So, siyempre, mayroon tayong minor axis. Dapat pass through the center. Okay? Nakapass siya through the center. So, this is the minor axis. As you observe also, the minor axis is shorter than the major axis. So, makikita naman natin, no? Mas shorter yung minor compared to major axis. And major axis also, dapat longer siya ng minor axis. Next is the co-vertices, are the points on the ellipse which intersect the minor axis. So this is the minor axis. Kung meron tayong vertices, meron tayong co-vertices. Yun naman yung dalawang points that pass through the ellipse, no? That intersect the major axis. So ito siya. Okay, yung dalawa na to. And most, the notation of this is W sub 1 and W sub 2. So these are the main characteristics of ellipse. Okay, now let's have the standard form at center 0, 0, meaning at the origin. There are two types of ellipse pala. No? It depends upon the major axis niya, kung horizontal or vertical. Okay. Pag horizontal, ito yung graph niya. Meaning to say, yung major axis, the longer line. Okay, the longer axis. So, yung standard form niya is given by x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. So, as you see, compared to the circle, yung sa ellipse, meron siyang denominator, right? Denominator niya is a squared and b squared. Ito naman yung shape naman pag vertical ang major axis. Ito siya, no, the longest line, major axis niya, vertical. Nagkakaiba lang sila sa denominator. Ang standard form niya is x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1. So, nag-interchange yung mga denominators nila, right? So, it's very important talaga na you know how to examine if certain ellipse is the major axis is at horizontal or vertical. Kasi magkakaiba na yung magiging vertices nila. So, yung standard equation, by the way, yung standard equation, minor axis endpoints, tapos yung focus nila. So, magkakaiba, opposite sila. Okay? So, we will discuss this in the later part of our discussion. So, again, may dalawang type ng graph ng ellipse. It can be horizontal or vertical. So, in this example, ang center niya is at the origin. So, ito yung dalawang what do you call this one? Dalawang standard form. Now, what if naman if ang center niya is not at the origin. Siyempre, most of the time, hindi naman sa origin yung center niya. It will shift horizontally or vertically. So, like sa circle, no, in parabola, shall we say, the center is at HK. Okay? So, ano mangyayari? So, for example, in this graph, no, hindi na siya sa origin. It shifted few units from left and and up. Okay? Ito rin. So, this is, makikita natin horizontal. Alright? Horizontal to siya. Tapos, ito naman is vertical. Paano natin nasasabi na horizontal to? Because, makikita natin yung major axis niya. No? Horizontal, tapos yung major axis niya is vertical. So, this is the standard equation niya. Okay? So, magkaiba sila dito kasi x squared lang tapos y squared. Dito na, nagiging x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Dito, pag sa vertical, interchange mo lang yung a tsaka b. So, x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared equals 1. Okay? So, take note pala how we're going to derive the formula for the foci or focus. So, ito yung formula. B squared equals a squared minus c squared. Tapos, pag vertical naman, same lang sa pagkuha ng formula ng foci. Okay, here. Okay, same lang din. Okay, this is a very important formula. Okay. So, next. Proceed tayo. Don't worry, dear students, because we're going to elaborate this one as we go on sa ating discussions. So, next naman, general to standard form. Let's have the general form of conic sections. So, this is the general form that we use in circle, parabola, and we use this also in ellipse because this is general form, of course, conic section. So, ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals 0. Tapos, yung standard form naman ng ellipse, so merong 4, right? It depends upon if where is the origin. Pag sa center or ang center niya is at the origin or at HK. So, pag yung center is at origin, dito tayo. So, x squared over a squared plus y squared over p squared equals 1 pag ang major axis niya is at horizontal. Pag vertical naman ang major axis, interchange na lang natin. X squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1. Okay. Next, pag yung center naman is not in the origin. Ito yung formula. X minus h squared over a squared plus quantity y minus k squared over b squared equals 1 pag ang major axis is horizontal. And x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared equals 1 pag ang major axis naman niya ay vertical. Yeah, right? So, kailangan ma-memorize natin yung 4. Yung 4 na standard form. By the way, I'm sorry, in this one, this is standard form. Sorry for hindi ko na-edit eh. So, that is standard form of ellipse. Okay, so again, there are 4 standard of ellipse depends upon the placement of the center. So, let's proceed. Alright, in this particular part of our discussion, magsosolve na tayo. Okay, so this is the most exciting part. General to standard form. Okay, can you still memorize? Or can you still familiarize the standard form of ellipse? Okay, so don't worry. So let's have this one. 9x squared plus 8y squared equals 288. Okay, so how we're going to solve this one? So this is the solution. Okay, now 9x squared over 288 plus 8y squared over 288 equals 288 divided by 288. So in this part class, no, because kung babalik tayo sa standard form of an ellipse. The right hand the right hand of the equation is equal to 1. Okay. For example, let me write the standard form of an ellipse. Standard form. Pag naka-horizontal siya, okay, horizontal, so that is given by x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. Okay, take note that the right hand of the equation is equal to 1. Pag vertical naman, okay, that is a squared x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals to 1. So that's why dito, no, in this part, nag-divide ako ng 288. Why? Para yung right hand corner nito magiging 1. Okay? So this will become 9x squared over 9 times 32. So yung 288 break down ko into factors. So 9 times 32 plus 8y squared, 288 is 8 times 36 equals 288 over 288. So alam naman natin na 1 yung result nito. So in this part, cancel out lang natin yung common, both numerator and denominator. So what will happen? X squared over 32 plus y squared over 36 is equal to 1. So this is the standard form of the ellipse. Okay. Now, question is, how are you going to identify if it is horizontal or vertical? Now, do you know that this is a vertical ellipse? Okay, vertical to siya. Why? Because as you observe that the denominator of x squared is smaller than the denominator of y squared. So if is in this case, no, na mas mababa yung denominator ng x squared kaysa y squared. So that is a vertical. Okay. So let's continue. By the way, add ko lang, no. So kung mabalik tayo sa graph sa table na discuss ko. So, yung A pala, yung A, that is your major axis. Okay? Tapos yung B naman, associate to your minor axis. Okay? So, alam na natin. So, pag horizontal, syempre yung major axis. Pag vertical naman, dito, major axis niya, syempre, yung major axis is much longer than the minor axis. Okay? So, this is vertical. Okay. By the way, sa question naman, hindi naman natin kailangan i-identify kung vertical or horizontal. So, nagbigay lang ako ng additional information. Okay? So, let's continue. So, number 2, 16x squared plus 4y squared minus 32x plus 16y minus 32 equals 0. So, in this particular example, i-group natin yung mga terms which have the same literal coefficient. So, group natin yung 16 minus x squared, 16x squared minus 32x plus quantity 4y squared plus 16y equals 32. Okay, tapos, ginawa ko dito is, yung 16 saka 32, they have a common of 16. So, factor out ko yung 16. So, magiging x squared minus 2x. Dito rin, okay, yung 16. Saka yung 4 naman dito is, that is the common between 4 and 16. So, factor out ko, magiging y squared plus 4y equals 32. Next naman is I'm going to what do you call this one? Completing the square. Okay, so take note that this is a binomial, so kinomplete ko yung square niya. So magiging 16 times quantity x squared minus 2x plus 1. How are you going to do that? Okay, so divide natin yung 2 by 2. So the answer for that is 1, tapos squared natin yung 1, so that's why 1 siya. Okay, that's how you're going to do by completing the square. Dito naman, so 4, divide natin ng 2 is equal to 2, squared natin, so it gives us 4. So that's the technique in completing the square. Erase na natin. Okay, equals 32. So bakit may 16 saka 16 dito? Kasi yung 16 dito, multiply natin sa dinagnad natin na 1. So 16 times 1, so 16. Dito rin, 4 times 4 give us 16. Kasi nag-add tayo dito ng, nag-completing square tayo dito eh. So pag in-expand natin ito, parang nagdagdag tayo ng 16, dalawang 16. So that's why 16 plus 16 dito. Okay? So after na completing the square, so gagawin natin is you're going to factor this in a square binomial. So 16 times x minus 1 squared plus 4 times y plus 2 squared equals 64. Okay? So alam na natin yung gagawin. Kailangan dito na part maging 1. So divide natin whole equation by 64. So 16 times quantity x minus 1 squared over 64 plus 4 times quantity y plus 2 squared over 64 equals 64 over 64. So alam na natin kung what's the result of this. So now you're going to divide 16 by 64. So it gives us x minus 1 squared over 4. 4 na lang. Kasi 64 divided by 16 is 4. Okay? Tapos dito, y plus 2 squared over 16. Okay? 64 divided by 4 is 16 equals 1. So this is the final answer. So as we all know, as what I've discussed earlier, pag-identify natin kung vertical or horizontal ba major axis natin, the answer is major axis, vertical or horizontal. So this is vertical. Okay. Next, 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 72x minus 24y plus 144 equals 0. So, like in the previous example, gagawin natin is we're going to group the same terms. Group natin yung same literal coefficient. So, group natin yung 9x squared minus 72x plus 4y squared minus 24y equals negative 144. So, dito, no, negative 144 kasi we transpose this positive 144 to the right side. Tapos, what we're going to do next is we're going to factor out 9 common between 9 and 72, and that is 9. So x squared minus 8x plus 4. This 4 is the common between 4 and 24. So 4 times y squared minus 6y equals negative 144. So this is the time we're going to completing the square. So that is 9 times quantity x squared minus 8x plus 16. Why 16, sir? Because we're going to divide by 2. So it gives us negative 4 squared. So that gives us 16. 16 siya. And here naman, why 9? Because negative 6 divided by 2 gives us negative 3 squared. And that is 9. So that's how we're going to do by completing the square. Erase na natin. And copy natin negative 144 plus 144. Why? Because yung 9, i-multiply natin sa 16. So that is 144. Yung 4 naman, multiply natin ng 9. Okay? So let's simplify. So we're going to factor out this one. So magiging 9 times quantity x minus 4 squared plus 4 times quantity y minus 3 squared equals, syempre magiging 0 daw 36. And do you know what's next? So we're going to, alright, so we're going to divide both equation by 36. So 9 times quantity x minus 4 squared over 36 plus 4 times quantity y minus 3 squared over 36 equal 36 over 36. And it will give us x minus 4 squared over 4 plus y minus 3 squared over 9 equals 1. So this is the final answer. This is the standard form. So by looking at the standard form, this is a ellipse where major axis is at, so same din na number 1 tsaka number 2, no? Mas malaki yung number na nasa y-axis. So this is major axis is at vertical. Okay, so let's continue. Now we're going to solve from standard form to general form. Okay, how are we going to do that? So this is for number 1, quantity x minus 2 squared over 20 plus quantity y minus 3 squared over 36 equals 1. Okay, solution. So we're going to expand this by multiplying the whole equation by the the greatest common factor of 20 and 30. The LCD, the LCD, least common denominator of 20 and 36. So we have quantity x minus 2 squared over 20 plus quantity y minus 3 squared over 36. So the LCD between 20 and 36 is 180. Okay, so next is we're going to multiply 180 to each of the terms. So magiging multiply natin dito. Multiply natin dyan, and multiply natin sa 1. So magiging 180 times quantity x minus 2 squared over 20 plus quantity 180 times quantity y minus 3 squared over 36 equals 180. So divide natin. 180 divided 20 will give us 9 times quantity x minus 2 squared plus 5 times quantity y minus 3 squared equals 180. So 5 to because 180 divided 36 is 5. Now we're going to expand this expression, x minus 2 squared. So this will give us 9 times, so yung x minus 2 squared, ito yung expanded form niya. So magiging x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus 5. So expanded form naman ng y minus 3 is ito. So y squared minus 6y plus 9 equals 180. And we're going to distribute. So magiging 9x squared minus 36x plus 36 plus 5y squared minus 30y plus 45 equals 180. So combine like terms natin. So magiging 9x squared plus 5y squared minus 36x minus 30y plus 81. 81 because we add 36 and 45. Tapos yung 180 naman, transpose natin to the left side. So magiging 81 minus 180 equals 0. Simplify natin. So the final answer is 9x squared plus 5y squared minus 36 minus 30y minus 99 equals 0. So this is the final answer, the general form. Okay, let's proceed. Number 2, quantity y plus 3 squared over 4 plus quantity x minus 2 squared over 1 equals 1. In our previous examples, yung major axis nila is vertical. Pero in this example, makikita natin sa standard form na to, no? This is the a squared. Mas malaki yung denominator. By the way, I think, pero makikita natin na y plus 3 squared siya. Okay, so pag interchange natin, vertical niya, major axis niya, vertical pa rin. So take note of this. Nag-interchange yung placement ng x tsaka yung y. Okay, so solution of this same as number 1. Expand natin. Kukunin natin yung LCD ng 4 tsaka 1. So very easy. So y plus 3 squared over 4 plus quantity x minus 2 squared over 1 equals 1. So, multiply natin by, yes, very good, 4. So, magiging, so, bakit y plus 3 squared na lang to? Kasi pag multiply natin dito, tapos divide natin 4. So, the answer is 1 naman siya. Okay, so that's why sinorkat ko na. So, quantity y plus 3 squared. So, here, 1 naman yung denominator niya. So 4 times 1 divided by 1. So, 4 times quantity x minus 2 squared equals 4. And expand natin yung expression na y plus 3 squared. So, it will give us y squared plus 6y plus 9 plus 4. By the way, here, kasi sinorkat ko na eh. It will give us x squared minus 4x plus 4. Tapos, multiply natin ng 4. So, that's why it will give us 4x squared minus 16x plus 16 equals 4. Alright? So, combine like terms natin. So, syempre, mauna yung 4x, yung x squared. So, 4x squared plus y squared minus 16x plus 6y plus 9 saka 16 gives us 25, right? So, and we're going to transpose 4 to the left side, so 25 minus 4. So, our final answer is 4x squared plus y squared minus 16x plus 6y plus 21 equals 0. So, this is our final answer. Okay, now, let's have another problem. Okay, this is much difficult to our previous examples because we're going to find the standard form. No. We're going to sketch the graph given the center, the foci, and the vertices of the ellipse. Okay, so let's have the problem number 1. Quantity x minus 7 squared over 64 plus quantity y plus 2 squared over 25 equals 1. So, in this illustration, dear students, so makikita natin, no? So, this is the y-axis and the x-axis. So, this is an ellipse where the major axis is at vertical. No, very horizontal. Because in our example, no, ito yung a squared, tapos ito yung b squared. So, this is horizontal. By the way, the standard form, pag horizontal siya, tapos yung center niya is at HK, hindi naman origin yung center nila. It is given as x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. Now, let's analyze what are the given. So, first, center. So, center niya, so yung HK. Ito yung H, saka ito yung K. So, it gives us 7, negative 2. Right? So, meron na tayong center. Kalawa, now we're going to identify what is the value of A. So, ang value A squared natin is 64. 64 yung A squared natin. So, kung kukunin natin yung A lang, so, kukunin natin yung square root niya. So, that A is equal to 8. That's why nilagay ko dito is A is equal to 8. So, yung B squared naman is 25. Okay? So, yung B naman, syempre, is 5. Okay? So, next. So, in the diagram pala, makikita natin yung distance from the center. Distance from the center to the vertex. That is A. Tapos, yung distance naman from center to the focus is given by C. Okay? Tingnan nyo. Tapos, yung distance naman from the center to the co-vertices is given by B. Okay. So, dapat familiarize nyo yung mga notation. Okay. So, yung V sub 1 is the vertices, F sub 1 is the focus, W sub 2, W sub 1 is the co-vertices. Tapos, yung C naman is the center. Alright. Hot dog is the center of the bread. Okay, let's continue. So since we have the A and B, we're going to find what is the value of C. So the formula is C is equal to square root of A squared minus B squared equals square root of 64 minus 25. So square root of 64 minus 25 will give us C is 39, square root of 39. So C is square root of 39. Meaning to say, class, yung C, it is the, you know, it is the distance from the center to the focus. That is square root of 39. Okay, so let's proceed. So yung focus natin, yung focus, since naka-horizontal siya, yung focus 1 natin is given by 7 plus square root of 39. Okay? Since galing sa C, ang first focus natin, no, in this particular example, okay, is 7 plus square root of 39 and negative 2. Nag-add lang tayo kasi pa-horizontal siya eh. Pa-horizontal siya. So, mag-add tayo sa what do you call this one? Sa abscissa, no? Abscissa niya. Okay, yeah, ito yung abscissa eh. Okay? Tapos, since dalawa yung focus, so yung isang focus, actually, yung f sub 1 and f sub 2, pwede sila ma-interchange eh. So, in this particular problem, ginamit natin. So, yung f sub 1 niya dito. F sub 1 niya dito, and f sub 2 dito. Okay? So, nag-add tayo ng square root of 39 sa center. Okay? Ito yung center eh. 7 yung abscissa ng center or yung H. So, meaning to say, sa pag-identify ng focus, so f sub 1, 7 plus H, tapos negative 2. And f sub 2 naman is 7 minus H. So, ang H niyan, ano na? C pala. C. Okay? 7 minus C. Okay? So, 7 minus C and negative 2. Okay, erase na natin. I hope na you understand about the focus. Okay? Pag ano yung, since yung focus is the distance from the center to the, C is the distance from the center to the focus. So, mag-add tayo ng C sa center. Okay? That's why ito yung center, right? So, sa focus 1, add tayo ng 7. Then, dito, add tayo ng C. Square root of 39 dito. Nag-subtract tayo ng square root of 39. Okay, let's proceed. Now, the vertex. So, yung vertex naman, ito yung vertex eh. Yung A. Ito yung A. So, ang A natin is 8. So, meaning to say, mag-add tayo ng 8 units. Mag-add tayo ng 8 units. So, this is V sub 2. So, mag-add tayo ng 8 units galing sa center. So, una, mag-add tayo ng 8 units and mag-subtract tayo ng 8 units. So, una, 7 plus 8, so it will give us 15. And 7 plus negative 8, and will give us negative 1. So, that's how you're going to identify the vertex if it is horizontal. Okay. Then, yung co-vertices naman, yung co-vertices is the distance from the center to the co-vertices is given by B. So, yung B, distance from center to the co-vertices. So, mag-add tayo tapos mag-subtract doon sa ordinate. Okay, this is the abscissa ng center. Ito naman yung ordinate. Alright, this is the X and the Y. So, yung co-vertices naman, nasa y-axis siya eh. So, mag-add tayo tapos mag-subtract doon sa center. Sa ordinate ng center. So, yung b is given by 5, meaning to say, mag-add tayo sa negative 2 ng 5. So, negative 2 plus 5, that is 3. And mag-subtract tayo, negative 2 plus negative 5, that is negative 7. So, these are the center, the focus, the vertex, and the co-vertices. Now, we're going to show the graph. Show natin yung graph. So, ito yung magiging graph niya. Graph ng quantity x minus 7 squared over 64 plus quantity y plus 2 squared over 25 equals 1. So, yung center niya, nandito. Ito yung 7 tapos negative 2. Yan yung center. Then, ang focus naman, as what I've said, yung focus is the C. Ito yung C. Yung C niya is square root of 39. Ibig sabihin, pag dito, from the center, mag-subtract tayo ng square root of 39 sa abscissa ng center. So, that's why nag-add tayo. Or nag-subtract. So, dito yung f sub 1 natin eh. Dito naman yung f sub 2. So, nag-add tayo. That is 7 plus square root of 39 minus 2. Then, na-subtract tayo. So, that is 7 minus square root of 39. Negative 2. Tapos, dito rin yung vertex. Saan yung vertex? Okay, ito yung vertex. Tama ba? So, negative 1, negative 2. Okay, tama. Tapos, dito 15. Okay, negative 2. Okay, tama din. And we have the co-vertices. So, co-vertices naman is 7, 3. Okay, this is 7 and 3. Tama. And we have 7, negative 7. Okay, so meaning to say, tama yung nakuha natin na center, focus, vertices, and co-vertices, and we're able to sketch the graph. Okay, so with constant practice, I know that you can solve this one and sketch the graph. So let's try another example para naman maintindihan nyo. Okay, let's have this one. Alright, so in the next example, medyo kung titingnan mo, you cannot get the center right away, right? Because it is in general form. So, gagawin natin is we're going to solve the standard form. So, the given is 16x squared plus 96x plus 7y squared plus 14y plus 39 equals 0. So, I was able to teach you on how to transform from general to standard form. So, this is how we're going to transform it. So, the solution, we have 16x squared plus 96x plus 7y squared plus 14y plus 39 equals 0. So, we're going to group like terms or group terms containing same literal coefficient. So, quantity A 16x squared plus 96x plus quantity 7y squared plus 14y equals 39. And we're going to factor out. So, 16 yung common nila. So, 16 times quantity x squared plus 6x plus 7 times quantity y squared plus 2y equals 39. And we're going to completing the square. So, x squared plus 6x plus 9. Tama ba? Okay, tama. Kasi divide natin ng 2. Right? So, magiging 3 squared equals 9. Okay. Parang hinaantong na ako. So, 3 squared 9. Dito naman, y squared plus 2y plus 1. Kasi divide natin ng 2 equals 1, 1 squared. Okay, tama. So, then 39. Siyempre, multiply natin yung 16 saka 9. So, that's why we have 16 times 9. Saka yung 7 times 1. 7 times 1. Alright. So, let's continue. So, after this one, completing the square, I factor out a factor na naman natin to in the square binomial. So, magiging 16 times quantity x plus 3 squared plus 7 times y plus 1 squared equals 39 plus 144 plus 7. Okay? So 16 times quantity x plus 3 squared plus 7 times y plus 1 squared equals 112. And divide both sides by, that's correct, 112 pag magiging 1 yung right hand corner. Yeah. So 16 times x plus 3 squared over 112 plus 7 times y plus 1 squared over 112 equals 112 over 112. So magiging x plus 3 squared over 7. 7 because 112 divided by 16 is 7. And 112 divided by 7 is 16. Alright? So quantity y plus 1 squared over 16 equals 1. So this is the standard form. Okay. So in that particular problem, no, we're going to determine the center, the focus, the vertex, and the co-vertices. But before that, we should transform first from general form to standard form. So it's not easy, right? So let's go back to our problem. So that's the solution. So ang standard form natin, after natin na-solve, ito na yung standard form. Okay? X plus 3 squared over 7 plus y plus 1 squared over 16 equals 1. So by looking at the equation, is the major axis is at horizontal or vertical? All right, vertical, because the denominator of y plus 1 squared is 16. So this is the a squared and this is the b squared. Okay, so this is in the form x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared is equal to 1. So naka-vertical siya. So ganito yung form niya. Alright. So erase na natin to ha. So ibig sabihin yung major axis niya nasa vertical. So sa focus niya, doon na naman tayo mag-add sa ordinate niya. So ang A, syempre, is the square root of 16, which is 4. Tapos yung B naman is square root of 7, which is square root of 7. Now we're going to compute for the C. So C is equal to square root of 4 squared minus square root of 7 squared equals square root of 16 minus 7. That will give us 9. And square root, ito pala, square root of 9 yan. So it will give us 3. So ibig sabihin, yung C natin is 3. Okay, now, let's have the center. So easy lang ang pagkuha ng center eh. So ito yung H eh. Ito yung H, saka ito yung K. So center natin is, ito yung formula. So marami sa iyo nagtataka bakit negative 3 yan, sir. Kasi yung formula natin is x minus h squared. Okay? So ganito yan kasi klase. X minus negative 3 squared. Okay? That's why negative 3 yung nilagay natin. And same with this. Alright, so center. Now we have the focus. Okay? So as what I've said, yung focus is the value is the distance from the center to the focus is C. Alam naman natin yung C is 3. Ibig sabihin, pag sa focus number 1, itong focus number 1, mag-add tayo ng 3 doon sa ordinate ng center dito. Okay? Dito tayo mag-add. Pababa naman is mag-subtract tayo. Okay? Subtract tayo ng value ng C, which is 3 pag sa focus. Kasi vertical na siya. Okay, let's have this one. So, ang focus niya, ang foci niya, bale dito sa problem natin, nag-interchange siya eh. Pero pwede rin may interchange yan eh. F sub 1 dito, dito naman is F sub 2. So, ibig sabihin, pag dito yung F sub 1 natin is mag-subtract tayo ng ordinate ng center. So, magiging negative 1. Ito, why negative 4 yan? Because ito ay negative 1 yan eh. Next natin ha. negative 1 minus 3. That's why negative 4. Alright? Now, sa focus number 2 naman is mag-add tayo ng 3 sa negative 1. So that is negative 1 plus 3. So that's why 2 siya. Okay? So that is correct. That is the focus. Next naman is vertex. So yung vertex is the point of the ellipse that pass through the focus. So dito. So ibig sabihin, mag-add tayo doon rin sa ordinate ng center. Kasi pass through the center yan eh. So what from the center to the vertex is given by A or B. Alright, A. Ito. From the center. So ito. A siya. Okay. Let's have another color para hindi tayo mahirapan. So, ilist na natin muna. So, this is yung A. Ang A natin, that is the vertex. Okay? So, pag galing sa center, punta sa vertex 1. By the way, yung vertex 1 natin, mali naman tayo dito eh. Vertex 2 yan eh. So, mag-add tayo or mag-subtract ng what is A natin? 4. Okay. So, sa problem natin, interchange din natin eh. Dapat vertex 1 yan. Dito rin vertex 2. Okay. Pareho lang yan eh. Okay. So, negative 3. Why negative 5 yan? Kasi, from here, negative 1, nag-subtract tayo ng negative 4. This is negative 5. Dito naman, 3 ito because we add 4. That is 3. Okay, that is the vertex. Okay, did you understand? Erase na natin. By the way, this is V sub 2. Let's have the co-vertices. Ang co-vertices natin is the endpoint of the minor axis. So, ito yung naman na yung minor axis natin eh. And from the center to the minor axis, it is given by B, yung distance nila. And we all know that B is the square root of 7. Now, take a look that the distance from center to the minor axis is pa-horizontal siya to the x-axis, meaning to say na mag-add tayo or mag-minus tayo ng value ng B sa abscissa naman. Dito naman sa negative 3. Okay. So, B is square root of 7. So, magiging negative 3 minus square root of 7 kung papunta tayo dito sa left. Tama yung annotation natin. Negative 3 is negative 3 minus square root of 7. Negative 1. And yung W sub 2 natin, yung co-vertex number 2, is negative 3. Mag-add naman tayo ng square root of 7 sa abscissa ng center. So, negative 3 plus 7. And negative 1. So, these are the center, focus, vertex, and co-vertices of the ellipse. Now, we can graph this using this characteristics of the ellipse. So, let's have the graph. Okay, yung graph naman, so center, ito yung center, negative 3, negative 1, tama. Tapos yung focus niya, major axis is vertical. So, ibig sabihin dito yung f sub 1 and we have f sub 2. Tama ba? We have negative 3, negative 4, negative 3. Okay. Here, negative 4. Tama. Dito naman, negative 3, positive 2. Okay. Tama siya. Now, let's have the vertex naman. Negative 3, negative 5. So, vertex, major axis. So, dito siya. Negative 3, negative 5. Okay, tama dito. Very good. Dito naman, negative 3, positive 3. Okay, tama rin. Very good. Now, let's have the co-vertices at the minor axis. So, dalawa dito. Check natin kung tama. Negative 3 minus square root of 7, negative 1. Okay, yung negative 3 minus square root of 7, if you're going to simplify this using your calculator, it's something like more than -5. Okay? -5 point, may decimal siya eh. So, dito. Okay, tama. So, tama yung nakuha natin na center focus, vertex, and co-vertices, and we're able to sketch the graph.